Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Wande. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I went vegan, why I went vegan, and also to give you a little bit of insight into the food that you're eating. So if you want to stay up to date with what I'm going to be talking about, then just keep watching. My vegan journey began when I was 16 years old and I got shipped over to Nigeria, and we were having a meal, like loads of different meals, and then one day I just saw a chicken in the kitchen with its legs tied. And I remember thinking, oh, you're not gonna kill it, are you? And they said, of course, this is what we're gonna eat for dinner tonight. And after seeing that, I just remember not eating the chicken because I'd seen it alive, and I just couldn't live with myself knowing that I'd seen it alive. It's so weird living in the Western world. You just go to a supermarket or you go to the butcher's and you pick up the chicken, but you don't actually think that it had alive previously before it was killed for our consumption. And I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me, and I remember people just laughing at me at the table like, wow, one day you're not eating the chicken. Are you family with the chickens? Was that your cousin? Like, why do you not want to eat the chicken? So for me, I feel like that's where my vegan journey began. And then a couple of years later, I remember going to an event and meeting this Nigerian lady who said that she was vegan. And at the time, veganism wasn't anything as it is today. And I got to understand that, you know, she doesn't eat meat, she doesn't eat eggs, she doesn't eat fish, she doesn't eat dairy. And I was like, oh my God, like, you don't eat, basically. You just, what do you eat? She was like, vegetables, rice. And I was like, doesn't sound very appetizing, doesn't sound very appealing. And I don't know, for some reason, that really stuck with me, because I was like, wow, what is she going to eat? And I was like, I can't even try that lifestyle. It's just not for me. So fast forward to 2015, veganism started to increase in popularity, and I just felt like, okay, you know, I'm just going to research it a little bit more. And as I found more and more things about food and the food we eat, and especially westernized food, it just repulsed me, and I just couldn't eat it. It was just vile. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the things I discovered about the food that we eat, and I'm going to educate you guys on some of the things that I think would be beneficial to you and also help you. So long before veganism was a thing, I started to do some research into beef. I really loved beef at the time, and I just felt like, you know, I just want to research into it. And I realised that beef has a super high fat content, and I thought it's just not best for this kind of thing to be in my body, as with pork. So those are the two things that I eliminated from my diet quite early on. I think I was 18, 19, around those ages. And it was just not something that I wanted to continue with. And personally, I didn't see a difference. Actually, my waist got smaller, but other than that, everywhere else, I think for myself, stayed the same. I switched from dairy simply because it is vile. It's not stuff you want to put in your system. Think about it. If someone said to you, try dog's milk, you'd be like, ew, that's disgusting. Try cat's milk. Ew, that's disgusting. Why have we been brainwashed, I would say, to believing that it's okay to have cow's milk? It's not strange to have cow's milk, but it's strange to have dog's milk, cat's milk, whatever and other animals produce milk out there. And then secondly, milk is for the baby cows, so they're continually making these cows pregnant just so that they can have milk for us, which we shouldn't even be having anyway. Also, milk has a super high fat content. There's no calcium in milk at all whatsoever. You know, all the advertising and all the like studies always say, you know, milk is good for you, it's got calcium. All the calcium is fortified, which means all the calcium is added to the milk. So there's actually no benefit for milk for us as humans at all. And also you can get calcium from other areas too. Yogurt. Now, yogurt is something that, again, it's been advertised as it's great for digestion. No, it's not. It clogs up your intestines, it clogs it up, so it's not good for digestion at all. It's all a marketing ploy, it's all an advertising ploy, because they just want to sell more milk. It should actually be eliminated from our diet altogether, and that's why, of course, vegans don't have dairy. And also, like, you won't die if you don't have dairy. There's so many substitutes. The key is research. Cheese contains what's called casomorphins, and it basically acts like a drug, like a very addictive drug. So if you notice, people that go vegan, they always say the hardest thing to give up was cheese because it's very addictive. Obviously it's not good for you. Again, it's in the same family of milk because obviously milk is used to make cheese, and it's just not good for you. Also, when having dairy, there's cow pus in there, there's blood in there, and although there's technologies to help reduce it and take it out, it doesn't take everything out. And then also, you're having milk from a distressed mum. You've had milk from a distressed mother cow that has just basically been forced to be pregnant. And you know, for example, if you eat food from like a distressed animal, you know, it can make you feel quite distressed as well. Think about it, if you surround yourself with people that are always sad for no reason at all, you actually start to find that you're sad. So imagine then eating a product of something that comes from an animal that is distressed, that's upset, that's unhappy, that's sad, it's had its babies taken away from it just so that we can have our milk. So I just don't want to be sad, I want to be happy. So I stopped the milk and the cheese. But I do miss Halloumi cheese, and there's no vegan option that is as good. But I don't want to eat blood, so it's fine. Dairy is actually also linked to acne, it's also linked to cancer, it's linked to a lot of things. And why do we want that in our body? You just don't need it. Just don't. Unless you're trying to get acne, which I don't think anyone is, you just don't need it. A lot of chicken that we have is pumped with water to make them bigger, and which means you're not really getting what you should be getting. And also, when chickens are in their environment, they walk around in like their own poo, in their own wee. Sometimes that's where they sleep sometimes. And then imagine, like, all they do is like wash it off with a bit of water and then it comes to us. No, should not be eating that stuff. Now there is less chicken. I don't know if you guys heard, but KFC had to close 700 of their stores because they ran out of chicken. And it just goes to show you that these things and these animals, it's not sustainable. Of course, I've watched all the documentaries, but I still allowed myself to form an opinion of myself and did a lot of research outside of all the documentaries. But chicken is just not something that you really want to be consuming. Yes, it is better than beef and pork, but again, it's just distressed. It knows it's gonna die. Like, animals are smart. Animals are as smart as humans. It knows it's gonna die. It's gonna be very fearful, very scared, and I just don't want to eat a distressed animal. It's cool, it's fine. Eggs. Eggs is the #1 cause of high cholesterol and heart disease. Oh, why would you want to eat a chicken's abortion, basically? You're basically eating a chicken that's not yet formed. And trust me, I used to love eggs, but again, as you start to research more and more, it just repulses me. When you think of where your food is coming from, what actually is that food, and take away the fact that it's tasty, it's been marketed as nutritious. You know, if you take away all these things, it's just not something you want to put inside your temple. Oh, it's not something that you want to be putting in your body. It is a chicken's abortion if you really think about it. It's a chicken before it's formed. That is what you're eating, and flavoured with some, whatever you flavour it with. And it's just not something. Why do you want to eat something that is going to be detrimental to your health? Because it tastes nice? We have to learn to take the taste out of our minds, because I feel like everyone, including me, was previously blinded by, oh, it tastes so good. But if you can mimic those tastes, you're good. Rather than eating eggs, I would have ackee as a substitute. I flavour it up the same way, and I can still have a full English breakfast without animals on my plate. That's it. Still tastes as good, still tastes as nice. It's just if I go out, that's where the problem is. Fish. Now, fish is a very smart animal, so they're as intelligent as humans, and when farmers go out to fish, for example, if they're looking for salmon, they would, you know, put in the big net into the sea, and then they will take all the salmon that they need, and anything else that they've caught, they just leave it to die. How cruel is that? It's not even like they take it and then they just leave it to die, and it's like, oh well, sorry, we did. How sad. And again, like, I just can't get over the fact that I'm eating an animal that is distressed, that has had to die in such a violent way. it knows why it's dying. It's just not good, really. A couple of things to note as well is that all these advertising campaigns that we've all been brainwashed by, such as milk is good for you, that's where you get your calcium from, you know, meat is a good source of protein, so is beans, so is spinach, so is lentils, it's all a good source. It's just that it's higher. It doesn't mean that it's the best source, it just means there's higher amounts of it, that's it. So if I can get the same amount of protein in something else, it might as well just eat that something else. All the advertising we've been brainwashed by, they're all lies. It was just a ploy to make money. Can you imagine? From young, we all know that if you want calcium, it comes from milk. That's not true, but we all believe that. We didn't research it, we didn't look into it, we were just told multiple times over the years through advertising and marketing, and we all believe it. Even if you're someone that's not into nutrition and health, you know that fact. Those are the two health things that almost like everyone knows, and you know that milk is a good source of calcium, but it's a lie, it's marketing. And sometimes it frustrates me because obviously, as you guys know, I work in advertising, so you see how these things are developed, you see how they want people to think, but at the same time you have to research for yourself and know what is good and what is not. How I began going vegan is I had to veganize 5 of my favorite dishes, and once I began there, I started eating them a little bit more regularly. More in 2016, I started eating more vegan foods. I still ate meat, but I started to veganize a lot of my foods, and then by the end of 2016, I felt I was in a good place to cut it all out because I found foods that I could eat, foods that I could flavor, and foods that just tasted the same and that was good for my health. After a while being vegan, it becomes second nature. It's not something that I have to think about. Usually when I'm going out to eat, I would research the restaurant first to make sure that there's food I can eat, and if there isn't anything that I can see, I'll call up the restaurant and say, hey, I'm vegan and what do you have for me to eat? Now let me tell you guys something. I felt super awkward doing this in the beginning, so awkward, because I just felt like I was being fussy. I'm a fussy person, but then I had to really say to myself, actually Wande, this is your health. No other person on this planet cares about your health more than you. All they care about is sales, all they care about is making money, and that's it. And then that gave me the strength and the power to be like, I'm gonna go into this restaurant, I'm gonna tell them I'm vegan, they must cater to me, and I deserve for them to be able to cater to me. And yeah, now it's just second nature. It's so easy, like I don't even think about it anymore. If you are trying to go vegan, always have your kitchen stocked up with food that you can eat. You're less likely going to be tempted by foods that you can't. Research into seasonings. Maggi, for example, has stock meat products inside it, so I don't use that, but you can still get that taste without using Maggi. Also, did you know that white sugar is obviously bleached, number one? Secondly, did you know that they put animal bones to make it more white? Oh, no thanks, goodbye. If you want an alternative, coconut sugar, best thing ever you could do. Amazing, natural, high in fibre, great source of sweetness. That's the word. There's a plethora of vegan foods. There's Nigerian vegans, Italian vegans, Chinese vegans, Japanese vegans. There's a plethora, so definitely research. I'm also going to link a lot of the documentaries down below that I think that would be helpful to you and that you should watch and help you just research more. I'm not even trying to say go vegan tomorrow, you're going to die. I'm not that person, but I just want to educate you guys a little bit more and just show you the foods that you can eat and know what you're putting inside your body, and you guys can make that decision for yourself. I've had people who have gone vegan and know all the things about food and still decided that they want to eat meat because it's just too difficult of a choice, and I respect that. That's your choice. Obviously it is a very difficult thing, but as I said, you get used to it and it's second nature. And I hope that you guys will stick around. Let me guys know if you want to see what I eat in my day vegan style. Obviously we're moving into spring, so it'll probably be a spring edition, and I shall see you on my next video. Bye guys.